what is just the approach mindset heading into this matchup this evening, and how important is it for you guys to get going early in the game?
We just need to be ourselves. Can't try to put too much pressure on us. We got to go out there and play our game. You've heard me say it a million times this year. We're playing ourselves, and we did a very bad job of playing ourselves the other night. And so we got to get back to playing ourselves the best way and preparing the right way. And I feel like we've been doing a good job of that the last 2 days.
A few more for Max. Jack, in the third row.
Max, just how much of a focus was the Manny throw to the dugout among you guys internally the last couple days?
0. You can't let that affect you. That's, the Padres as a team, as a stadium, as an atmosphere thrive on that kind of emotion. And if we play into that, we're playing right into their hands. So we got to focus on ourselves, like I've been saying. And, it's one of those things where it is what it is. It happened. We move on, and we're ready to go out there and play our game tonight.
How much do you think, like, the emotional dynamic of this series, has factored into just how the first couple games have played out and how it might, dictate the way the rest of the series goes?
Well, I mean, I think you saw it in both games. The first game we played our game. Second game we kind of tried to play into their game, and it obviously backfired big time. And that wasn't on purpose. It was just the circumstances of the game happening. And like I said, that's one of those things where you can't try to play someone else's game. We got to play our game. We got to get back to playing ourselves, and that's what we're working on doing.
Mike?
Max, when you say playing ourselves, how do you define that?
It's kind of a complicated answer, but you can only control what you can control. And for us, that's how we prepare, what our game plan is, what we want to try to do. There's going to be a lot of things in baseball that happen that you have no control over, and you can't worry about that. You have to go out there and prepare your way, have your game plan, focus on the things that you've been doing all year correctly, and and that's where I always say the opponent doesn't matter who you're playing. The only name that matters is the starting pitcher, because you have to game plan for that guy specifically. But other than that, you're not playing the opponent as much as you're playing yourself. And if you're going out and doing stuff that you haven't done all year long, it's not going to be a good recipe for success.
We'll come back to Kirsten. Go ahead, Fabian.
Yeah, Max, if Freddie, his ankle won't allow him to play, you may end up at first base again. You've barely touched that position since you hurt your elbow in 21. What's your comfort level?
Well, besides the ball up the line, for obvious reasons, it's a position I'm very comfortable at. I played most of my career there, almost won a Gold Glove there. It's a spot that kind of comes naturally, and it's if I have to go over there, it's the only thing that would worry me is that it's because Freddie's not in the game. But as for myself, it wouldn't be a big issue.
Staying towards the middle and the back, right behind you, Bill.
Max, what do you expect from the atmosphere tonight, and what kind of a residual effect do you think will carry over from all the shenanigans from Sunday?
Who knows? I mean, it's going to be a live atmosphere. There's no doubt about that. The atmosphere here has been, over the last several years, has been, tops in baseball, and so I wouldn't expect anything different. As for the carryover, as you were talking about, I don't know. That'll be one of those things where we'll have to see how it plays out tonight.
We'll come back to Kirsten in the front.
Max, just quickly, just kind of with the swing the other night, the home run, how are you just kind of feeling with how your at-bats are, how the swing is, especially as preparing into tonight's game?
Well, that was it's one of those things where you hope that swing can kind of carry you over into today. At least a good moment for me in an otherwise pretty terrible game. So you hope that you can kind of carry that feeling, that momentum into the next game, and just continue to get a job done for the guys, and depending on whatever the situation calls for, just try to get a job done. So for me, you try to just build on the positive moments that you have, and that's one of them.
Stay on the left side.
Max, when you talk about the team kind of trying to play your game and not focusing too much on the emotions, is that more blocking them out or channeling them into something useful?
I think each guy's their own in that answer. some people can do better channeling it into something else, and then other people do good just blocking it out entirely. In games of this magnitude, it is pretty hard to block it out, I'll say that. So the better thing to do sometimes is channel it into a more positive feeling for the team. And, things are going to happen out there on the field, and you just can't let them affect you on a personal level. You have to find a way to take what's going on out there and, just transfer it into something you can do positively. If someone's doing something you don't like, instead of letting it get under your skin, you just realize if you go out there and you make a bigger impact, that's going to get under their skin more than you trying to fight back with them. And so that's something that we've been focusing on, is just, get back to being yourself.
Jesse?
On the baseball side, you guys have seen Michael King a good amount this year. Just sort of, your perspective on what he's brought to the table against you guys.
It's nasty. A lot of movement in the windup. Ball going every which way. Nothing's going straight. He's very good command for the most part. So for us, it's just trying to, we have what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna talk about that, but you just really have to be disciplined in what we're trying to do. And so for that, it's obviously tough when you're talking about the type of movement that King has, but you hope there's a couple mistakes that you don't miss.
Tony?
Max, Doc talked about you guys being bullied by the fastball in previous postseasons. You guys kind of turned that around in Game 1, and then you get a pitcher like you, Darvish, in Game 2, which is a completely different type deal. And now you're going back to somebody who, probably is going to use the fastball a little bit more. Just talk about, going from one game plan to the next and then trying to get back onto something along these lines again.
It's a chess match. It's a game of adjustments. It's any metaphor you really want to use, but that's why the postseason is extremely hard to hit. I've talked with a lot of our guys before about we've faced teams kind of going down the stretch in the end of the regular season, and sometimes they'll purposely pitch, off their game plan so that if you face them in the playoffs, they're not doing the same thing. And we've seen that with the Braves several years. There's no telling how he's going to go out there and attack us tonight. But yeah, you definitely saw between the first two nights different game plans on their side. And so for us, we have to have our game plan and make the adjustment based on, how the first couple innings go.
Standing up on the riser in the back.
Max, you kind of alluded to, the opposing team and not playing their game and kind of the emotions behind it. Do you feel like the Padres are intentionally trying to get under your skin in any sort of way to level the playing field, or how do you feel about it?
Well, I don't know about leveling the playing field, but I think that's definitely part of their game, is they try to, as I've said, they play off the emotion. The atmosphere here plays off their emotion, and we've seen that for the last several years, even in regular season games. Just something as simple as a single, and you see the guy throwing the bat 30 feet in the air, that really gets the crowd going here. And that's just that is kind of part of their game, is trying to get under your skin and trying to have the emotion come out and get you to do something that you're not normally doing. And just for example, if you're a pitcher and you see a guy doing that, and all of a sudden you want to throw harder, and now you're missing balls right over the plate, and that's when their guys are doing the damage. So you just can't. It's easier said than done, obviously, but yeah, you just can't let that happen.